Hey guys, welcome to 0 to 60 Crypto, where we help you get up to speed with your crypto knowledge. We got Nick here who's going to show us the in and outs of KuCoin at an entry level because it confused the heck out of me when I was trying to trade some funds. So we're going to be able to go over how to transfer funds into KuCoin and how to be able to use those funds to be able to get different coins that aren't on exchanges like Coinbase, they're not on PayPal, they're not on Venmo, so you can really start getting up to speed.
All right, so I will share the screen again. So I got my risky test KuCoin over here where I have all my real speculative coins and not so speculative like Energy Web is not, but it happens to be in this one. I don't have any way to hide my balances, so we're in my smaller one here. And we're going to show you guys some of what you can do on the KuCoin. So you can do almost everything on the KuCoin web version, and then there is some stuff that you have to do, like the high-level trading bot stuff you can only do on the app, but mostly on here. So this is one of the websites, the exchanges that you can't KYC on, so there is no way to verify your identity, nor should you, and thus you cannot buy any of the currencies directly. You have to onboard using crypto.com or Coinbase, for example. So I'll show you guys how to do that. One important thing real quick, when we do that, whenever you deposit things into the account, they're always going to end up going right into this main account first, in which case you have to move it to the trading account. And I'll show you guys how we do that as well. So I have some remaining funds in my Coinbase. Let's see if there's one that I can easily move here for us. So let's move. See, we got any tether here.
Would you, I mean, obviously do your own research, but would you suggest leaving, so for example, I have some DOT in my Coinbase. Would it be useful to move it from Coinbase to KuCoin or perhaps put it somewhere else?
It's 50-50 on there. Since it's not a cold wallet, they're basically equal. You don't have the keys to either. I technically don't have the keys to my KuCoin, you know, but depends on what you're trying to do with it. Just depends, honestly, wherever you like to have it. I used to really like having all my stuff in one place. I love seeing one balance on Coinbase, and it really kept me from moving stuff off of it. And so that is, let me, yeah, we do that.
There's a saying,
guys, I got my agent is
not your,
you want to pause?
Not your keys. Joe? Yeah, there's a saying, not your keys, not your crypto. So
your key then. Who, like what, which systems allow you to hold the keys?
The currency's wallet. Ethereum doesn't really have a designated wallet. That's why I use like MetaMask because it's the most popular.
Okay.
But there's
so if it's in your wallet, you hold the keys. If it's not in your wallet, you don't hold the keys.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, like Coinbase, they have a wallet, but it's not truly decentralized. It's still not yours because Coinbase can still freeze your assets on that wallet. So that's something that I don't like about exchanges like Binance. I forgot to log into my VPN on my phone and it locked my account because it was like American IP. And I had to like wait a long period of time before I logged in again under a VPN from like Europe to be able to like act like I was somewhere else. And it just became a huge headache. And that started me like just storing stuff off exchanges.
Okay. And just to reconfirm, when you're transferring assets from one to another, it needs to be dot to dot, ETH to ETH, Bitcoin to Bitcoin. You can't do Bitcoin to ETH or else it's just gone.
Yes, most of the time it's gone. Almost always it's unrecoverable.
There's things called atomic swaps, but that's a whole nother episode.
Okay, my agent is good to go, so I'm going to turn my screen share back on here. All right, so so if you wanted to move some Tether over to your KuCoin, you would use the deposit function here, and you would choose close some tabs I'm not using. Hopefully it'll speed it up a bit. So you would choose Tether in here or USDT. These are your recents under here. Pardon the delay here, it does not want it to cooperate. Okay, so we're gonna put Tether. You would choose that. It gives you, actually it gives you the choice, but if you don't notice, it's gonna go into the main account by default. If you want it to go into the margin account or your trading account, then you can choose that once you deposit, same as on the mobile. I'll move it to pretend it's going to the main account here. So you would just use this address. There's a copy button, same on mobile. You can use the copy and then you would go to Coinbase and you would hit send. I'm going to go to a different currency so I can actually get it to show even though it's wrong. So we're just going to pretend we'll click on Civic just so I can go to the next screen.
Will it stop you from sending it?
No. I don't think so. It doesn't know the difference, right? So I'm just going to choose in case something breaks or whatever. So it's, oh, it does. In this case, it does on Coinbase. It did say invalid. So it won't let me continue.
So at least this is recognizing that, hey, this is not going to the right, to the right destination.
This is not an EOS wallet or whatever. So it won't let me continue. But this is where you would put it, but just on Tether. And then you just hit continue, and on the next pages has you confirm it. And then after about 10 minutes, up to 10 minutes, your deposit will show up in your main account or whichever one you selected in this case. Most of the time it goes to the main account by default. I don't have any on here. It's just a little bit of KuCoin, their KCS token. So once you have some money in here, if you need to move it around, you just click the transfer button next to the amount that you want to move, and you can move it to a trading account. What we're going to look at is things a little bit more fun than that. Also, if you hold their KuCoin token, they pay out every day a little bit of KuCoin token to you for being a holder if you have more than 6 of them. And once you have some coins in here, if you wanted to do something a little bit fun and different, they have some bots. So one of the things I like to do is take a little bit of money, and on this only really works if it goes up, as does any of this stuff. But there's no real risk beyond what you invest. So it's a little different than leveraging. You don't have to borrow money or worry about losing more than you started with. You can only lose what you put in. But if it goes up, it can multiply your gains. And so the only one, okay, cool. So it's still the same. The only one that works on the website is the spot grid, which is the normal volatility, buy low, sell high. And as a coin does this up and to the right, it buys and sells automatically. And the best one today is running at about 17,000% APR for the year. That was if it ran all year. So obviously it's in a short stretch because coins don't run up all year. But in that amount of time, you can divide that by 365 essentially and get your percentage gain for the day. These other 3 you can only do on the app, so I can't show you those. But they all function kind of similar. They just do different things. This one on the bottom has the lowest returns normally, but what it does is it trades coins for each other automatically for you, and you put chunks of you put some Ethereum, some DOT, some Kusama, some whatever, put 4 or 5 tokens in there, or 10 or as many as you can, and it will trade them for each other based on which one's gone up that day and which one went down. So if one coin went down 10% and one went up 10, they'll trade for each other and wait for the reverse to happen. And you kind of just let it chill. It's called smart rebalancing. People do it with stocks all the time, but even that one has about a 5,000% APR for, again, that's yearly. This XYO has been the recent hot runner. You can copy these people's bots as well. So if you were curious what this person ran, as you learn what to set them as, and I'll show you the settings, you can actually click and it'll show you the price range they chose for their bot. And if you hit create, you can copy it. Obviously, it may not be valid now because the old price is gone.
Could you zoom in again?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, the font on this website is so small looking too.
Perfect.
Okay, so if I clicked on the number 1, the Ratso guy, so he had this crazy 17,000% APR one. You could copy his exact bot, The problem is that this leaderboard is the past 24 hours. So if they're here, you're probably seeing it too late to get this kind of gains, but it puts it on your radar. So say we wanted to put a bot, like say we did what we went over last week, and we found a new coin on page 3 of CoinGecko, and we're curious. We've gone through all the things, and we're like, all right, well, I want to try a little bit of this one. Let's see if they got a bot for it. I doubt they have one for Mover, but that's the one I'm about to use the example for. So you click on create a bot, and on this downward arrow, you choose the coin you want to run the bot on. Not every single coin has it, but a lot do. So you can choose 3 things. What I always, if I'm searching for random ones to try and I want to put a little bit of money in, and basically my equivalent of actual gambling, I'll just search by the changes and the volatility. So if you put it high volatility, this XYO went up 77%, and the volatility is the measure of how stair-steppy it was. How jaggy was the up and to the right gains? If it's really high volatility, then you would have got huge returns because there would have been a bunch of trades on the way up. And so you can use volatility and percentage change to kind of get an idea of like which one's moving which ways. And all of these are really cheap. So XYO is 5 cents. I don't know what GMB is, but I have some comb as well. It's like half a cent. And so they can, with $100, you can get a fair amount, and sometimes it does something fun. But based on the things you're trying to trade, these are the different markets on the left. You got Tether, Bitcoin, Ethereum, DeFi tokens, USDC tokens that you can do pairs with, the KCS, and even some NFT stuff that they added recently. I always do the USD Tether ones because that's just what I've been dabbling with. So say we wanted to choose one. I really like comb lately, so I'm going to click on comb, and if you click this here, it will update the price. Based on the cost of the coin and how many people are running it, this total minimal investment, the minimum total investment will go up or down. No one's doing comb, or it's really cheap, so you can do it with $40. If it was something really busy, like I bet you that XYO, it's probably going to say you got to put in $600 to start a bot. That way it doesn't get
Mover is there, by the
overrun.
way. Mover's there.
Sweet. We'll look at Mover. Mover would have been a good one to have run in the past day or so. So this right here is the price range you can sell, and you can adjust it. By default, it uses AI parameters that it thinks are good. So it thinks that the price might move between 189 and 506. And basically, because it's busy, you would need $419 worth of investment to start playing with it. And as more people try to run this bot, this total and minimum investment would go up. I don't have the available balance for this, but it would let you obviously create one.
What you can 420.
And then also you can customize it if you want the AI parameters. You can hit fill, and then you can change it if you think you're like, you know what, I bet you this is going to 600, 630 in the next day, or however long you plan to run it. They don't shut off until you shut it off. Also, if you want to do less number of orders placed, it will reduce the amount of total investment needed because it's less moving parts.
So once it's reached the number of orders placed, does it shut itself off?
No, so it's basically like how many orders can be going out at a time. So it's going to run orders always until you shut it down, but it can have 92 pending orders at once, and they can be for tiny amounts or whatever. And so that's how it does that. It might buy $5 worth and then sell $7 worth and whatever. This is how many open orders can be had or whatever.
Okay.
Is my understanding so far.
In a perfect world, you should be ending up increasing your holdings of the token, right?
Yes. Yes. So basically, say you did it on, we'll use an example, like say you took $100 for Mover, and you had $100 in here, and you chose.
Let's say we put $420.
Okay, we put $420 worth of Mover, and so basically, with the starting price range, you were looking at Mover the other day, and it was like 160 or whatever, and you're like, I think it's going to go to 300, and then you put in, your 100 orders, which is the default if you have the monies, and then say you ran this, and 2 days went by, this past 2 days, you would have gained, you would have had outrageous gains probably. It'll tell us right here, so I might as well just look at it. So it went up 22%. So it's not exactly like leveraging where you can say 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x, because you're getting money from the profit of the trades on the way up. So basically, in this case, you'd start with 400, and on top of the price increase that you ended up with, the value of the token you're actually holding, you will get to keep all of the little bits of profit that it made on the way up. So you would end up with more mover and mover that's worth more, because, you know, obviously with the timing, it went up. So if you started with one single mover and it traded and bought and sold, you might get to 1.3 mover or something, depending on how many moves it made. So you can end up with more of the coin.
So the only risk is if that coin drops to 0.
Yeah, and then
lose on trades.
Yes, exactly. And if it goes poorly, then when you shut the bot down, you're going to lose because the value of the coin is less. And that's the only way it can go poorly. I have one bot that is still running because I'm waiting for this one token to maybe go back up, but it stops once it falls out of the price range. So if this mover went below 160, this bot shuts off, doesn't close, doesn't shut down, but it stops running. And so until it goes back above 160, it will not do any trades. So you don't have the loss until you shut the bot off. And then it's going to say, hey, you're about to, you're about to be in the negative. You're going to lose the money because the coin is worth less than when you started. But it doesn't have the risk of margin trading, which I tried, and it's scary. So that should be the last thing you try.
Margin trading is where you borrow money to trade with. And there are some places in the crypto universe, the Wild Wild West, that offer up to 100 times what you have to be able to play with. And it is basically gambling. And
that sounds to me like somebody's going to show up and break my kneecaps.
On Coinbase Pro, you can margin trade, but I think it's only up to 3x because it's illegal to do more.
You got 10 on KuCoin, and it's really scary because you have to pay it back, and so that's something for another day. But just as a comparison, instead of operating at a potential massive loss, because if you 10x leverage, you can 10x loss. So if you got $100 and you want to 10x something, you borrow 900 or 1,000, but you owe somebody 1,000. So if that coin you bought goes down, you got to get your money from somewhere else and then do that. I did it recently with $100, and then it was like, here's your 1,000. You owe it back at a rate of this. And I was like, all right, cool. And then like a day went by, and I was like, all right, cool. I'm cool with this little bit of profit. I'm gonna pay this back. I was like, I'm gonna pay it back. And I got out like $60 or whatever. And I was just like, I don't know, not yet. And so from that $1,000 trade, trades or whatever, I had $60 left over and my original 100. And so, yeah, scary though.
Guys, a note on that. That feeling is very addictive, and it's hard to walk away from.
It's very bad.
Me, coming from someone who used to play ETH dice, I would basically play it at a 76% chance to win. And anytime I lost, I would basically 3x my bet. And then I actually I was rolling for a couple of weeks where I made a lot of money. I bought a smartwatch. I sold gift cards to people. I bought a freaking bedside crib, the bassinet, $300 for newborn child.
What was the biggest dice roll you did? It was like 3 ETH, wasn't it?
And then I did a roll of around 11 ETH. And this was back when ETH was like 170, 190. It still hurt. But like if I had 11 ETH right now, that's 11 times 3,000. That's around $36,000. That's a nice truck. So yeah, margin trading, it's hard to walk away
I could tell that it had potential to go into my veins, so I shut it down, and I got real hot inside. So I was like, all right, this is something I gotta wait for until I got some real disposable nonsense money. Yeah, so I will show you guys the one bot that I still have running. It's for backs. It never recovered, so it is. I put 135 bucks into it. It's at negative 61 right now. Because it's fallen out of the price range, it's at 0.0006. So it's it's a whole decimal place short. So it's unlikely that I will that it'll go back up to the top of that range. But I'm just leaving it there.
But
If
as
I were
long as
to-
you don't shut it down, you don't
Yeah.
lose.
Yes, this right here, the number on the right would come out of the number on the left if I shut it off right now, and that's it. Which
And
is
that's
basically. Go ahead. Sorry.
Real quick, that's a great lesson in crypto. You don't lose money until you sell for a loss. Okay, that's why we have the term HODL, HODL, hold on for dear life. Okay, because I HODLed Bitcoin when it dropped from 20,000 to 3,500. I HODLed it for dear life, and Ethereum when it went from 1,400 all the way down to
120. Yeah.
Yeah, hodled it, and now these 20% drops, people are freaking out, and I'm like, okay, cool, whatever.
Gimme.
Yeah,
Like,
give
yeah.
me some more.
Gibby. Yeah, every drop is cool. I love the drops because I always have this perpetual FOMO that I don't own enough crypto. And I need more drops so that I can own more crypto. Okay. I don't need it now. I need it in 3 years. So I was like, I needed to go ahead and I'd be happy if there was one more massive crash. Okay. But whatever, I'll dollar cost average on the way up for now. But there's no time to buy as long as you don't FOMO out. There's no wrong time to buy. Everything's going to be worth more later.
I mean, basic trading principles hold: buy low, sell high.
That true. And don't sell when it goes down because there's a strong tendency to be like, oh, my losses. And obviously stop losses are important if you're actively trading, but hold it. It's going to cycle back up. Like I will never sell anything if it's not at a peak. And basically I don't sell anything until it's like life-changing in itself, or I 10x or something insane that I know is going to reverse. But yeah, and this one right here, like I said, if I ran it for 107 days, and it's actually a lot better than it was a lot lower, and the last pump pushed it up higher than it went back down. But it made 527 trades while it was running. There was one point where it was positive, and then I wasn't looking at it, and this one didn't have a stop loss put on it. So it didn't automatically shut off whenever it drooped below. And so I've just got it here left, and it's not running right now. And so it's just idle until the price goes to 0.0012 or higher. And
real quick, I'm going to share my screen. And I did the default settings because I didn't know about setting the custom parameters. So I'd love to take a look at that and see. So when we go over here, I see it bouncing around. It's still at 420.
You're not sure?
Nope. Okay. All right.
I was still sharing, I think.
Oh, sorry.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah. So let's say tomorrow it hits 507.
There it goes, already in the profit. If it hits tomorrow, if it goes out of that range, it'll stop trading. So you would have to increase your investment or adjust the price range, which you can do in the middle. So you can adjust that, and you might have to add more money, but only really if you go way out of the range. So if it goes to 505, you could then be like, okay, 450 to 700 or whatever you think is going to happen. And it may, depending on what you do, it may request more money from you. There you go. Price is within range. You can arbitrage from it. You got to put your number of orders. I don't know what it was before, but probably 100.
What does the orders have to do with it again?
So basically, it's like how many orders it can place at a time to like make the stuff happen. So basically, if you set it to 2, it would only buy, your entire money's worth at a time. You know what I'm saying? It can only move 2 orders at a time, 1 buy, 1 sell, 1 buy, 1 sell. Whereas if you do a bunch of orders, to my understanding, it can do a bunch of different buys and sells at different sizes. I always set it at 100 if I can, or I lowered a couple. Okay, so because the new price point is at like a much wider range, if you shorten the left number, if you put the left number higher, then your amount needed for investment goes down. But do you think it's going to go to 506? Oh, it went.
I
up.
think it's going to go well above it, considering it's been going up at least 30% every day.
Huge thank you to Nick for showing us the in and outs of KuCoin. Great exchange. I'm not the biggest fan of exchanges, but I'm a fan of KuCoin. Now, I just wanted to give you guys some follow-up on what happened with my bot. I started out with 5.3 moon rivers, okay? And one thing that I do want to say, well, it is really cool seeing like automated trades going down. You do risk your assets a little bit, because if you think about it, when it trades towards the top of the range, it is selling your coin for Tether. And when it does that, let's say if it goes above your range, then you have the choice of doing half Moon River and half Tether, which that's not always going to be the best. Or you could just convert the Tether into Moon River. Here's the problem. If the price is higher than your range, then your Tether is going to buy in at a higher price than what you entered in, essentially trading off some of your Moon River. This is great if you want to take profits in a low risk environment. However, you know, if you just want to hodl, just hodl. I looked at it and I was like, oh man, I'm making super sweet profits. Started out with 5.3 Moon River, right? And you know, I stopped the bot after I started doing a little bit of math. And you guys can see it's like, oh, you know, you made $279, dude. Why'd you stop? You know, that's great. But when I stopped the bot and pulled out everything into Moon River, I noticed that I only had 5.1 Moon River. So I actually gave up 0.18 Moon River. I started with 5.38. So if I would have just held on to it, I actually would have came out more on top. If you're super bullish on something and you don't want to let the coin go, and you think it's just going to skyrocket into the moon, hodl. Now, if a coin is just going sideways and you think it's just going to stay the same, light up a bot. It's pretty cool. It's fun. But I just wanted to give you guys some warning on that. Like, if you have a ton of confidence in a cryptocurrency, don't put a trading bot on it. And I'm going to move my Moon River off an exchange because you can stake Moon River now. I'm going to stake and make passive income that way, instead of trying to make passive income and risking my holdings on a project that I'm super, super bullish on. But for coins that trade sideways, like I might consider, you know, Luxo's just chilling right now. I love that coin, but I have some of it from being a liquidity provider on Uniswap. You know, I have some extra Luxo that I might not mind putting in a bot. Why not, right? But if I do that, I'll be sure to record it and let you guys know. But this has been another episode of the pit crew of 0 to 60 crypto. If you like this video, if you learned anything from it, or you think someone else will learn from it, please like and subscribe. And thank you so much. Also, if you have any questions on, you know, how to do anything in the crypto universe, if I don't know it, I'll learn it so I can teach you. Comment down below. We're here to help out the community. We also provide private development sessions where we get you up to speed, and you don't have to be on a video. We can do that too. Email me for details there. But thank you so much for coming, and on your way home, please drive safe.